Print from Photoshop. Print from Photoshop. How to print from Photoshop. And printing basics. What about printing basics? By the way, whether you are printing an image to your desktop printer or sending it to a prepress facility, knowing a few basics, by the way, about printing makes the print job go more smoothly and helps ensure that the finished image appears as intended. And what about types of printing? Types of printing is meaning that for many Photoshop users, printing a file means that sending the image to an inkjet printer. And Photoshop can send your image, by the way, to a variety of devices to be printed directly onto paper or converted to a positive or a negative image on film. And in the latter case, by the way, you can use the film to create a master plate for printing by a mechanical press. And what about types of printing? Types of image, sorry. What about types of images? Types of images is meaning that the simplest images, such as line art, and use only one color in one level of gray, and a more complex image, such as a photograph, has varying color tones. This type of image, by the way, is known as a continuous tone image. And what about color separation? Color separation is meaning that artwork intended for commercial reproduction and containing more than one color must be printed on separate master plates, and one of each color, by the way, one for each color. This process, called color separation, and generally calls for the use of cyan, magenta, and yellow and black (CMYK) inks. And in Photoshop, by the way, you can adjust how the various plates are generated. And what about quality of detail? Quality of detail is meaning that the detail in a printed image depends on image resolution and like pixels per inch, and print resolution like dots per inch. And most PostScript laser printers have a resolution of 600 dpi, and while PostScript image features have a resolution of 1200 dpi or higher. And inkjet printers, by the way, produce a microscopic spray of ink, not actual dots, and resulting in an approximate resolution of 300 to 720 dpi. And what about desktop printing? By the way, unless you work in a commercial printing company or service bureau, you probably print images to a desktop printer such as an inkjet and dye sublimation or a laser printer, not to an image theater. And Photoshop actually lets you control how your image is printed. And monitors display images using light, and various desktop printers reproduce images using ink and dyes or pigments. For this reason, a desktop printer, by the way, can't reproduce all the color displayed on a monitor. However, by incorporating certain procedures such as a color management system into your workflow, you can achieve, by the way, predictable results when printing your images to a desktop printer, and keep these considerations in mind when working with an image you intend to print. And by the way, if your image is in RGB mode, don't convert the document to CMYK mode, by the way, when printing to a desktop printer, and work entirely in RGB mode as a rule. And desktop printers are configured, by the way, to accept RGB data and use internal software to convert to CMYK. And if you send CMYK data, most desktop, by the way, printers apply a conversion anyway with unpredictable results. And if you want to preview an image as printed to any device for which you have a profile, you can use the Prof Colors command. And to reproduce screen colors accurately on the printed page, you must incorporate color management into your workflow, and work with a monitor that is calibrated and characterized ideally. You should also create a custom profile specially for your printer and the paper you print on, and so the profile supplied with your printer can produce acceptable results, by the way. And what about print images? Print images is meaning that Photoshop provides the following printing command in the file menu. We have two options here now. The first option, print. Print is meaning that displays the print dialog box. And when you can preview the print and set options and customized settings are saved and new defaults when you click done or print. And what about print one copy? Print one copy is meaning that print is one copy of a file without displaying a dialog box. And for maximum efficiency, you can include, by the way, the print command in actions. And Photoshop provides all print setting in one dialog box. So what about set Photoshop print options and print? Set Photoshop options, set Photoshop print options and print. We have three steps. We have many steps, four steps only. The first steps actually, you should to choose file, then select print. The second step, step number 2, you should select the printer and then number of copies and layout orientation. Step number 3, in the preview area at left, visually adjust the position and scale of the image relative to the selected paper size and orientation, or to the right, and then set detailed options for position and size, and color management and printing marks, and so on. And by the way, in Mac OS, expand the color management section and then select send 16-byte data to produce the highest possible quality in suitable, subtle, graduated tones such as bright skies. And step number 4, to print the image, click print, and to close the dialog box without saving the options, click cancel. And to preserve the options and close the dialog box, you should to click done. What about position and scale images? Position and scale images. By the way, you can adjust the position and scale of an image using options in the print dialog box. And the shaded border at the edge of the paper represents the margins of the selected paper, and the printable area is white. And the base output size of an image is determined, by the way, by the document size setting in the image size dialog box. And scaling an image in the print dialog box, it changes the size and resolution of the printed image only. For example, if you scale a 72 ppi image to 50%, in the print dialog box, the image, by the way, will print at 144 ppi. However, the document size setting in the image size dialog box will not change, by the way. In the print dialog box, the print resolution field at the bottom of the position and size section shows the print resolution and the current scaling setting, by the way. And many third-party printer drivers provide a scaling option in the print setting dialog box. This scaling affects, by the way, everything on the page, and including the size of all page marks, such as crop marks and captions. And where is the scaling percentage provided by the print command affects only the size of the printed image and not the size of page marks. Note here, please, and be careful. To avoid inaccurate scaling, specify scaling using the print dialog box rather than the print setting dialog box. Don't enter a scaling percentage in both dialog boxes. What about reposition an image on the paper? Reposition an image on the paper. You should choose file firstly, then choose print and expand the position and the size setting at right, and then do one of the following. To center the image in the printable area, select center image firstly, and to position the image numerically, deselect center image and then enter value for top and left, and for deselect center image and drag the image in the preview area. How to scale the print size of an image? How to scale the print size of an image? You should choose file firstly, then choose print, and expand the position and size setting at right. Then do one of the following again. To fit the image within the printable area of the selected paper, click Scale to fit media. After that, to rescale the image numerically, deselect Scale to fit media, then enter values for scale, height, and width. After that, to achieve the desired scale, you should drag the bounding box around the image in the preview area. And note here, please, and be careful in this point. If you get a warning that your image is larger than the printable area of the paper, you should click cancel, then choose file, then choose print, expand the position and the size setting at right, and then select scale to fit media. How to print part of an image. How to print part of an image. We have 4 steps. Step number 1. You should, with the rectangle marquee tool, you should select the part of the image you want to print. After that, step number 2. You should choose file, then print and select print selected area. Step number 3. If desired, adjust the selected area by dragging the triangular handles on the parameter of the print preview. Step number 4. Click print to execute. What about print vector data? Print vector data. By the way, if an image includes vector graphics such as shapes and type, Photoshop, by the way, can send the vector data to the PostScript printer. And when you choose to include vector data, Photoshop sends the printer a separate image, by the way, for each type layer and each vector shape layer. And these additional images, by the way, are printed on top of the base image and clipped using their vector outline. And consequently, the edges of vector graphics print at the printer's full resolution, by the way. Even so the content of each layer is limited to the resolution of your image file. Note here, please, and be careful. Some blending modes, by the way, and layer effects require rasterized vector data. We have 3 steps. Step number 1. You should choose file firstly, then choose print. And after that, step number 2, in the options box at right, you should scroll to the bottom and then expand PostScript options. Step number 3, select include vector data.